Alright, been a while since we have done a video, so I thought I would show you the beginnings of the WebUI that's actually a better working version than the previous ones we've attempted to do. And same as on our previous videos, we have the client going, though I'm obscuring the screen and muting the audio so we don't get our video taken down. So here we go. You'll notice here on my left hand side of the screen that we have our UI going. This is the main home screen. It gives you the option to do a CLI command with the results of that command shown beneath it. Shows you play mode, what's in your queue, what client you have active, your reaction mode, which should be either webhook checking or alert listener checking, and then the status of that reaction mode. On the left hand side is the sort of the navigation pane to get to different sections. It also shows you the poster of what's playing if something's playing along with the title. It'll show you what's up next, and then there's a couple quick action buttons down here. So like for example, the music button is a mute unmute, so if I hit that it'll unmute our client, but we're going to keep it muted. Then you got play. This would be pause play or resume play if you're paused, stop playback, and then start next program. So for example, if I wanted to stop what's playing on the client, I can hit the stop and it will stop playback there. Now I'll come back to the movies and shows because those are a little slower to load right now for the images. But anyway, so like the Python UI that we have available, you can see your blocks from the web UI. You can click into these blocks or drill down into them to see what would play from those blocks, and similar to the Python UI, whatever your up next in the block is will be shown with a green background on it, right? So if we played this block, RTB block, Wings would play first, followed by Cheers. If we go back to our blocks, we can look at our Tuesday cartoon block, for example, and this has a pre-roll, which is pre-roll Minions, then it plays these 4 shows, and then it will end with a random comedy movie. Also, like the Python UI, you can also look at your channels. We still have to add in the guide to emulate the guide like we do there. But here you can see the basic channel view. If you want to know what's on a channel, you click on the channel. I don't know, I might add the posters in here, or I might just make these buttons to go to show details. Showing 10 posters is definitely doable, but I feel like it's a lot faster just listing the titles like here. You can also see recommended items. Same deal with the posters. We might put the posters here, we might not. One of the improvements here is we actually really sped up the getting of new recommended items. Before, this used to take a minute or more because it would do an API call to get all your movies and all your shows, and so we figured out some ways to actually speed that up quite a bit. So as you can see, we hit update recommended. It gave us a new list of 5 shows and 5 movies. We'll hit it again here, and we should get 5 different movies and shows. Looks like we're getting some of the same shows, but oh well, it's trying. That's the important part. Beneath recommended, you can then see your schedules. Here you can see where I have scheduled items for get play counts and populate recommended. So that every day at 12 in the morning, it's going to update the play counts, which are used for one method that it uses for populating recommended. There's 2 different ways that it does it, so that way it gives you a little more variety. If you're like me and you have like the same 5 movies that you've watched 8,000 times, well, it doesn't really, if you get similar items based on those movies the whole time, you don't really get very much variety in your recommended items. So it does it also another way where it randomizes the list instead of paying attention to what you watch most often. Unlike the Python UI, from the main schedules view, you can actually add actions instead of having to go to a separate screen. You can also clear your schedule, which I don't want to do because I don't want to have to retype these in. You can then, beneath schedules is our settings options, and here's where you can change many of the various options that are available in TBN-Plex. Like for example, automatically skipping intros, automatically skipping outros, if you want pre-rolls injected into it, if you want to start your program at a random spot, if you want to always resume from where you left off, which I do. Wildcard status, what your wildcard show is, and you can change the wildcard show. Up here, the settings menu, this gives you similar to the Python UI where there's different sections that you can go into. And then you also have the similar style Hue Light and group controls. So say if I wanted to turn my desk lights on, I just click this desk lights button and my desk lights are on. If I wanted to turn them off, toggle over to off, and now my desk lights are off. If I wanted to say fade my lights on, just enable the fade option, and now my desk lights are fading on. And now they're fading off, which you can't see any of that, which is fine. I actually kind of like how this turned out for this section. It's pretty convenient. And then we also show you, this will open a new tab, all the CLI commands that are available. There's a lot of them. And then all the voice commands. Similarly, there's quite a few of those as well, which would be if you have either using the voice command script that we include with the TBN-Plex download, or if we eventually make the Google Home Alexa skill available publicly, those would all work there as well. Okay, so let's go on to our movies and shows. This is the part that's really still very much a work in progress, and that has to do with speediness. You'll notice that it loads. Actually loaded pretty good that time, though sometimes it's not the fastest because it is actually pulling using an API call to get all these images. I need to figure out a way to do that faster. Defaults to your favorite movies or shows, depending on which one you click on. Though you obviously can, if you wanted to see, say, your mystery movies, change your genre to mystery, and now you're viewing your mystery movies. Here's what I'm talking about on the slow list part you gotta figure out. From there, if you wanted to look at, say, movie details for, say, movie basic, you click on the poster, and that will take you to the details for that item. Now, similar to the Plex UI, we show you the actor with a little bit of a rounded mask on it, along with the actor or actress's name and then the role they played in the movie. You get the sort of director genres, tagline, summary, blah, blah, blah. You can, from the movie details, you can play from the beginning. That's mostly for if you have resume status on. So that way, instead of resuming from where you left off, you just start right from the beginning. You can set it up next in your queue or add it to the end of your queue as well. We'll probably also add in items to add to a block and add a block from here as well. The other thing you can do, similar to the Plex web UI, is you can click on the actor to view what they are in. You'll see, unlike the Plex web, we actually show you if an actor appears in both movies and shows, you get both their movies and their shows, which I think is kind of handy. So another good one to use would be, let's go back to our movies and we'll look at, no, we're going to do TV shows, Westworld. I need to turn autocomplete off on that. You can search for a title there like we did. Let's say you just had West and you searched for it. That's the only one I have with West in it conveniently. Same deal, you click on the poster, it'll take you into show or movie details depending on what the item is. Here we have the show details for Westworld. You can then click on, say, Anthony Hopkins, and you can see that Anthony Hopkins appears in those movies and those shows. Let's go back to Sam Jackson, because he has one that, well, I have him in 51 movies. We'll look at Shaft. Jeffrey Wright, he's another example of someone that appears in both TV shows and movies. Alright, so that's convenient. And I still can't believe that he was Peoples Hernandez in Shaft. And then Bernard in Westworld. So like completely different ends of the spectrum. So there you go. That is most of what happens with the TBN-Plex UI. We might as well show while we're here that the launching of movies or content actually works as intended. So we'll play, say, Equilibrium here. And there you can see that it launched it to my client. And you're good to go. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good one. Look for this eventually.